Very good morning, children. Children, we had started with lesson number 3 in our last lecture, properties of natural resources. What do you mean by the word natural resources? The resources that are obtained naturally are called as natural resources. For example, air, water, soil, land. Right, children? So, in this chapter, we are going to see in detail about all of these, right? So, first we had started with air. We had seen some properties of air, right? The first property was what? Air is a mixture of gases and it has mass and weight, right, children? The second property of air was that the molecules of the gases in air are in constant motion, and when these molecules strike a body, they create a pressure on the body, and that pressure is called as atmospheric pressure. Right, children? The third property of air is that this atmospheric pressure is same in all the directions. Right, children? Then we had seen about the work of a scientist. What was the name of the scientist, children? Daniel Bernoulli, right, children? He was a Swedish scientist, and what had he put forth? He had put forth an important principle that pressure of air decreases when its velocity increases, and the pressure of air increases when the velocity decreases. Fine, children, it is opposite, it is vice versa. Fine. Then we had seen about effect of air pressure. For that we had done an experiment. Yes, what we had done, we had taken some water in a plastic cup and hold a straw right upright in it. Then we had taken another small piece of another straw at the upper end of the first straw, right, and perpendicular to that straw. Okay, and we had blown hard through the small piece of straw. What did happen? Yes, a fountain was seen. Right, children? This works on the principle of pressure of air. That is air pressure. Fine, children? Then we had seen about another experiment wherein water droplets were collected outside the glass. Right, children? Yes. Why did this happen? Due to the ice cubes in the glass, the surrounding air in the glass cooled down, and as the water vapor in this air cooled down, it condensed and got transformed into water. Okay, so these water droplets were seen collected outside the glass, right? Then we can see one more properties of air, right? That is scattering of light. We all know that air is a mixture of fine particles of some gases, dust, smoke, and moisture. Right, children? When rays of light fall on these minute particles, these particles spread the light in all the directions, and this is what is called as scattering of light. Okay, children? This also we have seen, right? Then we have seen about temperature regulation. What happens is that the earth receives energy from the sun, right? This energy is reflected by the earth in the form of heat, yes, and the constituents of air, okay, they absorb a part of heat and give it to other constituents of air, and and as a result the temperature is regulated. Fine. Then we have seen about transmission of sound. How does the sound transmit? Yes, air is a very useful medium for the transmission of sound. Fine. Why? Because all the sounds that we all hear reaches through air, right? Okay. Then we have seen about properties of water. We had just started with the properties of water, right, children? We all know that water occurs in liquid state under ordinary conditions. Water is a fluid substance. It does not have its own shape, but it has a volume, and it can pass through small holes or seep through very small gaps or cracks. Fine. We had also seen that as water freezes to form ice, it expands and its volume increases. Okay. This was all about our last lecture. Now we will continue with this lecture. Here's another experiment. Take a bucket of water, drop many different kinds of objects or articles in it, and make the list that sink in water and those who float in water. Fine. Children, when we take some water in a pot or in a glass and add few pieces of ice to it, what happens is that ice floats on water, right? Why is it so? Ice is lighter than water. When water freezes to form ice, it becomes lighter than original liquid. When water freezes, it transforms into solid state, right, children? And its volume increases. Therefore, the density of ice is less than that of water, and that is the reason why ice floats on water. Fine. Then we come to density of water. The interrelation between volume, mass, and density is that density is equal to mass upon volume. Mass is measured in grams and volume in cubic centimeters. Hence, density is equal to gm upon cc, means gram upon cc. Fine. Hence, gram per cc is the unit of density. Okay. Next is anomalous behavior of water. The density of water is peculiar, means it is characteristic. When water at normal temperature starts cooling, its density increases like that of most liquids. However, if its temperature falls below 4 degrees Celsius, then its density starts decreasing. This means that the density of water is maximum at 4 degrees Celsius and it starts decreasing after 4 degrees Celsius. Fine? If the temperature of the water is lowered below 4 degrees Celsius, the density also decreases and volume increases. And it means that water expands when the temperature falls below 4 degrees Celsius. This is what is called as anomalous behavior of water. Fine, children? Yes. Children, can you tell me that in cold countries, how do aquatic animals remain alive even after the rivers or lakes freeze? Yes. You have to find this out from the net. Fine. Now another experiment. Take 2 big glasses of water. Add 4 to 5 spoonfuls of salt to the water in one glass and dissolve it completely. Now place a potato in the water and in the second glass. The potato will sink. Take out the potato from that glass and put it in the salt water and observe. the density of the water in that glass is greater, so the potato will float. Fine. Next we will see about three new terms for you: solute, solvent and solution. What are they? Solute means the substance that dissolves. That is, in this case, it is salt. Fine. Solvent means the substance in which the solute dissolves. For example, here it is water. And solution, what we get when the solute dissolves in the solvent. That is what is called as solution. Fine. Now we'll see about uses of water according to its properties. First point, water is useful for water transport due to its fluidity. Water flowing down from a height is used to generate electricity with the help of generator. Point number 2, water is a good coolant and is used in motor vehicles to control the temperature of the engine. Third, many substances are soluble in water. Water is a universal solvent. Water is used as a solvent in factories, laboratories, foodstuffs, and in various types of biological processes occurring in body, such as digestion, excretion, etc. Fine. Water is useful for cleaning purposes, such as for bathing, washing clothes. These are a few important uses of water. This was all about water. Now we'll see about soil. Properties of soil. Color is an important property of soil. The soil gets its color as a result of several processes. Fine. The color of the soil near land surface is darker than the color at the lower layers. Soil may be of different colors, that is black, red, copper, yellow, grey. Okay, children? The colors of the soil are useful for its classification. Besides, they are indirectly useful in indicating several properties of the land. In this way, the properties of soil, such as fertility, drainage of water, capacity to hold water, becomes clear from its color. The color of the soil depends upon its texture and its organic ingredients as well as chemical ingredients like iron, lime, etc. Fine. Next, we'll see about texture of the soil. Soil contains particles of different sizes. The texture of the soil is important because it indicates the various proportions of particles. Fine. Now we'll see its types. First is sandy soil. The proportion of sand, that is large particles, is high in sandy soil. Fine. Water drains rapidly through sandy soil and so it is easy to plow this soil. But children, this soil is less fertile. These particles do not dissolve in the water and therefore the soil has a very little capacity to supply nutrients. Second is silt soil. These particles are of medium size. Silt soil is not plowable, but the soil contains a large proportion of organic materials. Okay. Silt soil is also called as sedimentary soil. Third is clay soil. In this soil, proportion of small particles is maximum. The particles of clay soil feel smooth to touch, and clay soil has a high water holding capacity and it is more fertile and it is not that plowable as compared to silt soil, but it is plowable as compared to sandy soil. Fine, children. Today in this lecture we'll stop here and we will continue with the further lecture in our next period. Thank you.